Once upon a time, in a kingdom ruled by a kind and just king and queen, there lived a beautiful girl named Cinderella. She had big brown eyes, long curly hair, and a heart full of kindness. Cinderella lived with her father, who was a wealthy merchant, and her stepmother and two stepsisters. At first, Cinderella's stepfamily treated her kindly and with love. They would play games together, go for long walks in the kingdom, and have tea parties in the garden. But after Cinderella's father passed away, everything changed. Her stepmother and stepsisters became cruel and unkind, treating Cinderella like a servant and making her do all the household chores while they spent their days lounging in the garden, reading books, and indulging in their whims. Despite this mistreatment, Cinderella remained kind and gentle, finding solace in the animals who roamed the estate. She would spend hours talking to the birds and playing with the rabbits, who she considered her true friends. One day, the kingdom received an invitation to a grand ball at the palace. The king and queen had a son, the prince, who was of marriageable age, and they wanted him to find a bride. Everyone in the kingdom was invited to attend, and Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were thrilled at the prospect of attending such an exclusive event. Cinderella, however, was not allowed to attend. Her stepmother and stepsisters told her that she wasn't pretty enough, and that she would embarrass them in front of the entire kingdom. Cinderella was heartbroken. She had always dreamed of attending a grand ball, of dancing with a handsome prince, and wearing a beautiful dress. She sat alone in the garden, surrounded by her animal friends, feeling sad and lonely. Suddenly, a bright light appeared before her, and a fairy godmother appeared. "Don't be sad, my dear," said the fairy godmother. "You deserve to go to the ball too." With a wave of her wand, she transformed Cinderella's ragged dress into a beautiful gown, and her old broom into a sparkling carriage. She gave her glass slippers, warning her that they would disappear at midnight. Cinderella was overjoyed at the transformation. She thanked the fairy godmother and climbed into the carriage, driven by a team of white horses. The fairy godmother warned her to return before midnight, and Cinderella set off for the palace, her heart beating with excitement. As she arrived at the palace, everyone turned to look at her. Cinderella was the most beautiful girl anyone had ever seen. She walked through the grand hall, feeling like a princess, and all eyes were on her. The prince himself asked her to dance, and they spent the whole evening talking and laughing. Cinderella was overjoyed to be treated with such kindness and respect. But as midnight approached, Cinderella remembered the fairy godmother's warning and ran away, leaving behind only a glass slipper. The prince searched the kingdom for the owner of the slipper, trying it on every maiden in the land until he arrived at Cinderella's home. Cinderella's wicked stepsisters tried to wear the slipper, but it wouldn't fit. The prince was about to give up hope when Cinderella appeared, holding the other glass slipper. The slipper fit perfectly, and the prince was overjoyed. He knew that Cinderella was the one he had been looking for all along. The prince invited Cinderella to the palace, where they fell in love and got married. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were shocked and regretful for how they had treated her.